Here, when a person looks and he trusts, he creates an actual vessel. We know we speak about this vessel concept all the time. It's not a problem with the light, it's a problem with the vessel. Remember, it's not that there's lacking light, there's plenty of blessing, but there's no vessel. We have to create vessels. When we create vessels through trusting in God, through looking, through bitachon, is the number one way to create a vessel. Number one way. Why? Because every time you look, what happens? You give it dimension and time. You understand? Every time I look at something, imagine looking at a mirror. You get a reflected light. The more a person looks at something, the more that light comes back to him. You understand? That's why the Gemara says the more a person sustains his Father in heaven through prayers, the more his Father sustains him. So once we have trust, we're actually physically creating a vessel. Because money comes down, but it does not have a specific time. Something that you need now can come to you tomorrow, can come to you in a year, but you need it now. How do I get that thing to come now? How do I get it to come now? Reb Nachman says that a person's power of vision creates the required means of holding and containing it. He calls it a vessel. Okay? So he's saying here that when a person looks, mainly when a person looks at an object, he gives it dimension and time. And this is what our sages taught in Egypt. He says, this is what our sages of blessed memory taught. He made you suffer and let you go hungry, and he fed you manna. As he says, a person who cannot see can never be satiated. If you can't see it, a lot of times, what's the difference between a visionary and a person who you can see, look, don't you see the vision? Like the guy from Amazon. Don't you see it? I see the vision. Another guy, if he can't see it, he can never create that vessel. First, you have to believe in the dream. You have to believe in what you're doing. That creates a vessel. And then Hashem fills it. But if there's no vessel being created, there can never be any light. So what is he saying here? It says, therefore, someone who cannot see can't have a vessel. Can't have a vessel. And if we look at every time we say Poteach es yedecha maspiach kol rison, every time, this is the number one thing for parnasa. Even everybody pays attention to that one. When you take up your hand, first we look up to you with hope. First, in order to receive, you have to look up first. You can't just look down and receive. First, you have to look up. Right? As it says here, this is the benefit of trust. For one's eyes look up with hope, and you give them sustenance at its time. That means when a person has a trust in God, he's actually creating a vessel. The more you trust in God, the more the vessel is formed. The more the vessel is formed, the more Shefa automatically comes. You don't have to go chase it. It comes to you.